Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are listening to The Experiment. I'm your host, Joe Sorrell, and some of you have just connected back to me from the Lakers fast break. And we are going to continue some of the discussions that we had on there, but we're also going to talk a little bit of football, a little bit of Dodgers. Football, a lot of positives. Dodgers, a lot of negatives. Lakers, kind of in the middle there. So, and of course, we are going to mix in a little bit of lifestyle discussion because it always seems to go that way. I don't know if anybody is going to be here. I know Empire Jeff is preoccupied right now with some family stuff. Gerald's obviously up north in Northern California doing his thing with his family, hanging out with John Costa. I think not maybe today, but maybe I think tomorrow. But again, I want to thank you all for being here again. We're going to be able to kind of go through the show today or tonight, depending on where you are, and kind of go all the way as far as we can on this. So whether it's a 2-hour show, it's a 3-hour show, that always depend on that. I've sent out the feelers to the boys. I don't know who wants to roll through, but if anybody wants to roll through, come on and let me know. I sent out some links to some of you guys, but if I missed you, just let me know. I'll go ahead and send you a link. But we'll continue. We'll continue the discussion on sports in general. I do want to get to the Dodger discussion because I'm kind of I haven't hit the panic button yet. I probably won't hit the panic button yet. I don't think I need to do that because baseball is such a fickle game. But I don't know if that's EJ talking to me, common sense talking to me, or just current times talking to me. I struggle greatly adapting to current mentality. I really struggle. I mean, beyond struggle. Because to me, having that end all be all, we're here to bust your face up, your body up, everything up to win. I don't know why that should ever change. I don't know why. I mean, let's be real here. I'm looking at the Milwaukee Brewers, right? The Milwaukee effing Brewers. They're playing like the old NL National League team. They're stealing bases. They're rough and tough. You got their manager eating candy while he's doing interviews. Like, they've got a personality. They're doing things to get in your face. So why are the Dodgers not doing that? Why? You're looking at somebody like Shohei Ohtani, and somebody had brought this up on one of my fan forums, and he made a really, really good point. He said, notice how Shohei has only 16 stolen bases through August, right? He had 59 last year. So I think by August, he was sitting at somewhere in the 40s, let's say. I can't remember exactly what it was. But look at the difference there, guys, because of playing with fear, right? They're playing with fear. I'm going to get to the genesis of this so that everybody kind of knows where I'm going, but I'm trying to set this up as much as I can. You're playing with fear every week, every game with this team. When you play with fear, you're never really going to give 100 in it, whether it's Roberts making decisions, whether it's the players doing their thing. If you're constantly worried about something, then are you really going to be able to stretch your talent a lot? So I'm using this example because it was such a great example that I didn't actually think about. And I gave props. I mean, it was a great, great discussion with him. He has 16 stolen bases right now. I think he had around 40 at the same time. So think about that for a second. 40, let's say he had 40 around this time last year. You're talking about how many? You're talking about 24 plays where he was in scoring position versus this year. He was in scoring position 24 more times from the beginning of the year till August. So imagine having Ohtani. Ohtani is a bullet, right? As big as he is, as amazing he is and everything else, the speed doesn't get talked about enough. They talk about it, but not enough at how fast that guy is. So you are now in and let's say you're averaging a stolen base a game, right? That's which is crazy, right? That's Ricky Henderson type stuff, right? Even more, even less actually. But that's 24 less chances the Dodgers have had a player in scoring position because they're playing scared. That's something to think about. It's something to think about because for a while there, we thought, once Glasnow gets back, once Snell gets back, once the starting pitching gets back, we're going to be fine. And guess what? It did. Glasnow has been pitching like a freaking Cy Young pitcher his last 5 starts, right? 6 starts, whatever it was. Snell was amazing in the last game, other than a couple bombs. He struck out. He was striking out everybody else. Didn't get any help. Glasnow hasn't gotten any help. Yamamoto had a good game, no help. So you had 3 solid starters. And you're talking about guys, if they continue to pitch like this, you're guaranteed to have Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Snell starting game 1, game 2, and game 3 in each series. And that is not even counting Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is the 4th floater. And then you have Sheehan, who's been pitching well. You have Kershaw, who I don't know necessarily if his velocity is going to be enough for a playoff run. Maybe maybe depending on the scenario, maybe Robert starts him in a series where they want to reset the 5 game, right? And they put him in when the Dodgers are up 2-0 in a series in the NLDS. Maybe they start him in a game 4 if they're up 3-0 in the NLCS, something like that, right? But I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. Dustin May's not here anymore. Is Gosselin going to be that guy? I don't think so either. So it's only gonna my feeling on this is only gonna be confirmed if they lose. And I don't give a damn about being right. I do not give 2 craps about being right. My hope is that whatever they're doing now saves the team's energy so much that they're able to turn it on when it matters. But that's a dangerous game to play, especially in baseball. You can't just turn it on. Momentum is paramount in baseball, especially in the playoffs. We've seen teams go to the World Series that had no business being in the World Series because of that momentum. So I don't know how it's going to end, but we've discussed ad nauseum that this team cannot lose this year. They have to win back-to-back titles, or this year is a failure. Their run hits a huge snag. I don't care what baseball is. I don't care how baseball is fickle. I don't care. You stack this team so well that you had third-tier players that can be starters, that could be everyday players on other franchises. You cannot lose this year. Now, if they don't three-peat, a little bit more understandable. But this team was built to win back-to-back championships. This team is built to win at least 4 of the next 10 seasons. At least. I'd like to see 5 and 6, but 4 has to be the number in my view. And one of those has to be a repeat. 2 of those have to be a repeat, sorry. Have to be a repeat. The Dodgers have been in existence for 3 centuries. Yes, baseball was being played in the 1800s, folks. It was known as the National League before they became World Series and all that in 1903, where the AL now was playing against the NL. Separate leagues, by the way. At that point, they were separate leagues, legitimately separate leagues. They used to say things like, win the pennant, win the pennant. A lot of times people wanted to win the pennant. They didn't really think about the World Series as much, which is astronomical. Like when you hear about the, the 68 Red Sox, I think a lot of, with the, actually, I'm sorry, not the 68 Red Sox, the 75 Red Sox. A lot of people were so, Boston fans at that time were so, I guess, fulfilled by what happened in that year. And then, of course, the way the Carlton Fisk home run and all that, even though they lost to Cincinnati in 7, it was still this thing that went on that, I guess, it hit everybody in a positive way, even though they lost the World Series. We don't have that anymore. This is all one league now. It's been like that for a while. You don't have separate umpires in the AL, separate umpires in the NL anymore. You don't have the DH only in the American League and the pitchers hit in the NL. Everything's the same. And of course, you have more playoff games now. So with that, the Dodgers somehow need to get their act together, because right now, what's really bad right now is we're looking at August 7th, and the Padres now are 2 games behind in the division. Not only that, but the Milwaukee Brewers are starting to extend their lead as far as best record in the National League. So the Dodgers are now risking possibly losing the division lead and home field in the NL. It's not good. I don't know what the flip the switch is. I don't know if that exists, but they better get their act together, because if they don't, there is going to be. What are they going to do, guys? Are they going to say that Dave Roberts stinks? Does he stink? I don't know about stinking. But then you look at Brett Boone's going through the same thing, right? What is the deal in baseball? Why are the Yankees playing mediocre baseball? Why are the Dodgers playing below where they're supposed to play? I thought payroll was supposed to dictate all this. You have the number 1 and number 2 payrolls in the league that are not really all there. So what is it? What is it with baseball? What's going to change? What kind of manager could you bring in to replace Dave Roberts, especially considering he just got extended? So I don't know. We're going to have to wait. Last year, when Glasnow went down, they were in Atlanta. They got blown out, I think, what was it, the first 2 games? And then they kind of rallied together. I think they had a team meeting or something, and they ended up making a run. Maybe that's what's in store. I don't know. I don't like the way Mookie Betts is playing. I don't like the untimely hits. I didn't like Ohtani striking out, although the last few games he's been good. I don't like the fact that he strikes out as much as he does. I think if that habit continues, it's going to be worse in the playoffs. The Dodgers can't afford that. I think that's something that Ohtani might be working on right now, especially the last couple of games. You can notice it, but the bullpen obviously has become a problem. And what can change there? Is Dave Roberts screwing up there? Is he putting the wrong guys in there what is it? You had Vesia in there yesterday who wasn't able to keep the lead, and Vesia has been one of the best guys there. So I don't know necessarily if you can blame Roberts for that one. Brock Stewart gets traded here and hasn't shown much, right? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Trident is struggling out of the gate from being on the IL. Is Bazooka going to make a difference when he gets back? Momentum. It's something that we're going to have to wait and see how it kind of develops. Otherwise, I don't know what's in store other than what we're watching. Like, well, what's going to change after 4 months? Are these habits going to just all of a sudden change in September? That's the question you got to ask yourself. I just don't know. Let me get to some of your guys' comments here. Sorry. Let's see. Gregory, thanks for subscribing, my friend. Appreciate it. The Joe Sora channel where real men go to. I had this, the boasting on the show. The boasting on the show isn't about boasting for myself. I promise you, it's not. It's to bring pride to being masculine. And society, it's not just the last 5 years either, guys. This has been a slow burn. And you'd know this is true because if you watch a lot of the things that have developed over the last 30, 40 years, like especially in media, movies, TV, I noticed this years ago where you always had this adolescent teenage daughter, let's say, in the movie, treating her dad a certain way. Oh, dad, disrespectful type stuff. Orlovsky, is it Orlovsky? Orlovsky, the guy that did The Wrestler, the guy that did The Whale recently. He always seems to have these really, really mean daughters in the movies, and that's all predicated on the fact that the father either abandoned them, and it creates this disgust of the father, like a deadbeat father. And when you see the disrespect of the father in those scenarios over and over and over again in TV shows and movies, that was what was eking away slower and slower. And then, of course, once I used to call the senior citizens the blue hairs. Now the blue hairs are the psychopaths or the wannabe psychopaths that are trying to dictate and change people's idea of what's what. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to allow that. You're not going to change. The real men are not going to be put to a side. The real men are going to be in your face, regardless of what you say. And we have some of us have the receipts to prove that we're on point. So the boasting is about being proud of the testosterone, being proud of being the sports guy, being proud of going to the gym, right? We've been talking a lot about the gym on LFB and being in shape and being strong and all that. And a lot of, unfortunately, in that industry too, is you don't have a lot of real strong, a lot of studio tough guys, right? A lot of guys that are tough on the Instagrams and in the social medias, but in real life, they're struggling and not knowing who they are and they have an identity crisis. Well, I'll sympathize with some of those guys, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of what we've been taught is to continue to look at everything as a mental problem, instead of a testicular fortitude problem, as The Rock used to say with Mankind back in the day. Aaron, you like that one? I know you'd like that one. So sometimes you just gotta grow some balls, and if you got the credibility behind you, it's going to be much easier. So that's really what it is. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to be this tough guy doesn't have any backing. It's enjoy being who you are, man. Enjoy being who you are. If you like being, hey, like the ladies, and I'm gonna go play some basketball. I'm gonna go hit the iron, dude. Just be about it. Be about it all the way, and not necessarily brag about it, but take pride in it. Take pride in it, because a lot of people out there don't have a lot of pride and don't have an identity. It's a good identity to have, to be strong. I think that's something that hopefully will start to come back. My Dodgers struggling bad, possibly could lose first this weekend. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Toronto's a really good team, so they better do something where they end up sweeping this team in some way. Otherwise, they lose 2 out of 3 in this one. They could end up being out of first place at that point. Keenan is back, but lost Slater. FML. Yeah, that was bad, man. That is bad. A left tackle too. A left tackle on a team with a franchise quarterback who still has something to prove. I'm not saying that the Chargers are going to go start thinking about some things, but Herbert there's been some discussion in and around LA that they don't know 100%. It's not bad yet, but there is some talk of, is this guy going to lead us to a title? Is he going to be a Tony Romo or a Dak Prescott? I think that's kind of where they're going with it. There's not really going to be a choice. You're not going to be able to find those kind of guys on the corners. So Chargers will have to continue to progress with Jim Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh usually takes 2, 3, 4 years to kind of get things going normally. So again, but losing your starting left Pro Bowl tackle, just a horrible way to start the season. And there's always one of these damn things. The first freaking week of preseason is such a tragedy. Got to start looking at Dave Roberts. We've been looking at Dave Roberts since the beginning here. I've never been. I was immensely impressed by Dave Roberts managing this last year. I thought the noise came out, and I thought he, in my own mind, I feel like he kind of said, maybe not directly to Friedman and Caston and Gomi there, the front office guys. Maybe he's like, look, guys, if you guys are gonna, if these kind of things are gonna come out about me not being here, I'm gonna need a little bit more room to manage. And he pressed all the right buttons in the run to the championship. And I'm not just talking about the playoff run. As soon as that Glasnow thing happened, the Dodgers played baseball like a team possessed. And of course, it did help to have Ohtani playing like a man possessed. And then when they got into the playoffs, as soon as Game 4 turned out the way it did, they never really looked back. They really didn't. And they played amazing in Game 3 after that debacle in inning 3. So they turned it around after after that third inning. Padres didn't score another run, and it was an amazing way to jumpstart what I'm hoping is a dynasty run here. But it has to end with a title this year, guys. It has to end with a title. There's too much talent. There's too much depth on this. I don't care who's injured. That's the whole point of having the depth, is to handle the injuries. So if they bow out in the first round, what do? You just sign Dave Roberts to an extension. I don't think they fire him after that, but it reverts back to Dave Roberts being the jughead that I thought of him before. Just not good at motivating, not good at pressing the right buttons, not just on the field. I'm talking about in the clubhouse. Too soft, too friendly. I don't understand that. I don't think I've ever understood that. And maybe that's why I work alone. I don't understand that. So I don't think that even if they lose, I don't think they get rid of them. But I really don't know what would solve the problem. What manager out there would come in and really turn this team into like a machine? Are they allowed to do that? Is analytics going to ever really allow a manager to really go in and year out and be the difference? I think it has to come from like an all-time great player, somebody like a Derek Jeter, somebody that's just so obsessed with winning that it resonates throughout the entire team, and he has so much respect that it's there. Derek Jeter was not, Ohtani, the Ohtanis and Freddie Freemans are great leaders, but I don't know if they have that Derek Jeter gene where they can get in and have this winning thing where they keep winning. It's too much dead time there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. Dave Roberts sucks, man. If he was a European soccer coach, he would have been sacked after that. or an NHL hockey coach. I think they're a little bit less tolerant there too. Aaron, there you are. Good to see you, brother. Gary A. They don't have the depth in the bullpen to flip that switch again like 25. They better find it. They better find it. So Kirby Yates is on the IL. Tanner Scott's on the IL. Bazooka's on the IL still. Trident just got back. You got Brock Stewart now. Got another righty in there. You have Vesia who's been pitching well. You've had Banda that's pitching well. You have Dreyer that's been pitching well. This team has enough. This team has enough to win a damn World Series with these guys. What they need now is for sure, in a playoff series, they need their bats to hit. They need their bats to hit. Because I feel very comfortable as of right now. It could change in a month, especially with somebody like Tyler Glasnow. You never know. But if Glasnow, Snell, and Yamamoto are healthy, that's a hell of a 1-2-3 to start a series. And then you have Ohtani as your fourth guy with Sheehan, with Kasparius, whatever the combination is by then. And I'll roll with that. Because Ohtani in his last outing was magnificent. I just wish we didn't blow that damn game. I mean, he was magnificent. I don't know why Roberts didn't let him pitch the fifth inning. I wanted him to get the win. And I think, that next inning was when I think Sheehan ended up giving up 2 runs. So maybe this team is built for the playoffs. And I'm looking at the team. It does. It's kind of built on. It's kind of built for the playoffs. It's not really built for the regular season, the way they've played. However, you do not have an 8-game lead anymore. You have a 2-game lead. You got to win the division. At the very least, you got to win the division. But the other problem is you're not going to have home field if you keep playing like this. If Milwaukee continues to play the way they're playing, I was banking on I didn't think they were going to win 110, 111. I was happy with 104, 105, somewhere on there, 102, 103, 100 wins. Just get the best record in the majors so that you guarantee the first 2 games of every series starts in LA. But right now, they're not only tinkering against that, but they're also, are they going to start any games in LA if they don't win the division? That's scary. That's the scary part right now. They're going to have to get their act together. They're going to have to end August with at least a 5-game lead. A 5-game lead, because I think the Giants are done. Diamondbacks are done. Obviously, the Rockies they've been done for 4 months since the beginning. They're going to need to get that number up to at least 5 by the end of the month. Because I think if they do that, I think the Padres will start to lose some juice. Because right now, all their juice is going to win. And my God, the Diamondbacks really, really, really screwed the Dodgers the last 2 games. They had 2 games that were in their pocket, and they completely blew it. So, douchebags, sit on this, scumbags. Let's see. Craig, how you doing, my friend? For those of you who don't know Craig is always on the experiment on our playback. And all you guys who want to watch the games with us, please join in on playback with the experiment. And we televise every game. Fari, Sports Baby, is our conductor there. He's our engineer for it. Are you watching the Raiders-Hawks game? I didn't get a chance to watch any football today. I've been working a lot today. I've been in and out. And, of course, I had some vehicle maintenance stuff that I had to take care of. I've been trying to take care of here the last few weeks so that I don't have to deal with it. A lot of times with vehicle maintenance, I try to get all of it done within a 3, 4, 5-day span, so I don't have to deal with it for another 3 months. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Carol is back in Seattle. Yes, indeed. Did you take cattle to Seattle? That's a good one. My dad said the real gangsters are the ones that take care of their families, respect others, and handle business. Of course. You take care of your family, there's nothing anybody can say. When your children respect you, when the children respect the father and the mother, there's no better currency. There's no better receipt. Zero. There's nothing, a blue hair, a red hair, a pink hair, anyone out there that can go toe-to-toe with you. No one. No one. Doesn't matter how rich they are, how ugly or pretty they are. If you have children who love and respect the dad, the mom, those people own the world. And you can't break that. Now, you'd have to be a real piece of crap. Like, you'd have to be like Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar loved his family, right? Do I know that they respected him with love, or was it fear? Well, I'm going to take a guess that he was a psychopath, sociopath, all those things. Probably were afraid of him. I haven't killed anybody in my life, so I don't plan to. But yeah, that's the ultimate in receipts. That's the ultimate in having that little thing that says, what are you going to tell me? And especially those guys who usually yap. They're usually by themselves. They usually hate everybody. Don't respect anyone around them. What are those people going to say? They got nothing. What about green and yellow hair mixed like? If you're a Packers fan, it's good. No such thing as toxic masculinity. Anybody can. It's a subjective thing, right? Toxic masculinity. What does that mean? If you're talking about those, like, I always think of the Billionaire Boys Club type people. Those New York early the late Boiler Room. You ever seen the movie Boiler Room? Those guys. The Wolf of Wall Street. Those guys. That's the toxic masculinity. The guys that are walking boners. I call them walking boners. They jack up a tree with a hole in it. They just debauchery at its highest. If you're talking about that, okay, you got room there. But what the problem is, a lot of these people who overcorrect take in those who are not like that. Like, I don't have to be all the way in on one area. I have different views on things sometimes. So don't put me in that category. Don't sit there and tell me I'm this guy because I am vocal and I'm proud of being who I am. You're putting me together with those kind of guys, man. I have nothing to do with them. I didn't even like being called a jock when I was in high school. I'm not a jock. A jock is like a dummy. I've never been a jock. I think intellectually. Shoot, I hung out with a bunch of bodybuilders. I remember I love telling the story. I was my buddy Adam. He was my best man at my wedding. Still my one of my best friends. We went to week one. This was years ago in San Diego. We got invited to week one to go to a bar called PB Bar and Grill in San Diego. Some of you who are in San Diego knows where that was. And I didn't know these guys. I knew that they worked out at the gym that we worked at, and they were all amateur bodybuilders. So we end up sitting, and I'm thinking, there's a bunch of dudes. We're watching football. We're gonna have some, a lot of, the testosterone crew, right? Watching football. Man, these guys would not shut the hell up about protein shakes for 3 freaking hours. I've drank God knows how much protein shakes. I've worked out God knows how many hours. But I don't want to talk about protein shakes while I'm watching football for 3 hours. Bunch of jugheads. I left. Watched the second half games at home. It's like, what the hell was this? What kind of life is this? So no. I like variety. I like to use my head. I'm not a tunnel type guy. I like different things. And I don't need to talk about the same thing over and over again to be a part of the group, right? Because that's what ends up happening. These things, these clicks, like it's crazy how it happens. Dodger legend Kershaw versus Dodger legend Scherzer. Man, that 22 season still burns me, by the way. Rank the 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, Joe. Okay, let me get a pen. I gotta write this down. Let's see here. Get a piece of paper here. So right now, we have top 10. We have Mahomes. We have the MVP, Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson should have been the MVP. It's funny. I didn't think Lamar Jackson should have been the MVP the 2 times he was MVP. And then this year I said he should have been MVP and he didn't become an MVP. Go figure. Joe Burrow. Jalen Hurst. Of course, I ran out of ink here. Jalen Hurts. Let's see here. Who else? There's not a lot of really great quarterbacks. It's like very, very, very good quarterbacks and then a few great ones, right? So who else do we have? Do we want to put Jaden Daniels in there already? I don't think I want to do that yet. Give me a minute on that one. Dak Prescott. 10 is a lot. That's 1/3 of the league. So let me go through. Brock Purdy is not there. Obviously Russell Wilson and Giants isn't there. Tua's not there. Wow, that's a good one. I'm gonna scroll down the path down the road. I'm sure you guys have said something, but let me try to guess this one out off the top of my head here. Would we put Jordan Love in there? Jordan Love, I'd say has some room there, I guess. Would you put Matt Stafford? Matt Stafford. Who else? CJ Stroud for right now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 2 more. Can't put Sam Darnold in there yet. I can't put Caleb Williams in there. Who else is in there? Can't put Bo Nix in there yet. Am I going to have to put Brock Purdy in there? That's a good one. I guess I can. I guess I could go Brock Purdy. Do I put two in there? Oh, I can't put two in there. He's too injury prone. Who else? Jaden Daniels. Screw it. Jaden Daniels. For right now. So I got Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Matt Stafford, CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy, and Jaden Daniels. That's my top 10. And I'm sticking to it. Dodgers don't have a closer who has strikeout stuff. Roberts is going to have to use Dreyer, Vesia, or maybe even Banda at this point, unless Trident somehow can get back on track. Otherwise, I can't trust anybody else. Those are the only three that I've seen go 1, 2, and 3 normally. Like they can actually go 1, 2, 3 in an inning. No one else. Everyone else has to have freaking runners in scoring position. Roberts will get a bye because of all the injuries. Yeah, I don't know about that. There's too much depth for that excuse. Milwaukee has the tiebreaker on the Dodgers, so now they're behind 5 games, right? I can't remember what they're on at this point. I have to look. How I still need advice on how to pick up black chick and hood black chick. Will, I don't know how to pick up on a hood black chick. I don't live in the hood. I can only base that off movies, which movies are full of crap. If you want to go after a black chick, how is it any different than going after any chick? I don't know what to tell you. Tall black man, 6'8". Best business tips that helped you out, Joe. Did you read a lot of books? Did you attend seminars? I attended the Robert Allen real estate seminar in 2000. While I didn't go into the flipping real estate business, I learned a lot about how to manage money and how to manage taxes. That was the beginning. And then I used it later. I don't read enough books, but I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that a lot in the next few years. So that's going to go up. Best book I've read, financial book, is Rich Man, Poor Dad. Buy that book. One of the best things in that book that I use as much as I can is you get assets to cover your liabilities. So one of the scenarios that he said in the book was you buy 2 properties that pay for the house that you live in. Because a mortgage is technically a liability. A lot of people don't know that. It's a liability because you have that mortgage, right? So now if you own, let's say, 2 homes and the profit from that covers your mortgage, now you've eliminated your liability by using your assets. It's one of the first things I learned and understood reading that book. So business tips. The other thing, 6. I'm trying to shorten the name, Black Man, right? The best business that I've done is kind of being a lone ranger, a lone wolf. I can control the business without interference. Now, I'm not saying I don't have people that work with me that build things and things like that. I'm talking in terms of the business side. It's a lot easier when you don't have somebody in the way that's messing it up. I'm a jack of all trades. Like I can do all of it, even though I don't want to. But slowly, it's starting to change to where I can start delegating to the right people because that takes time. It takes time to find the right people. They're out there. They're out there. You also need the resources to make sure that they stay. So I've always overpaid my installers. Always overpaid my installers way above market, so that I can maintain them and that I don't have to worry about issues down the road if we ever were in a reunion or a prevailing wage situation. That's key right there. Joe Soro, do you know Jack Me Off? No, I do not know Jack Me Off. Joe, what college did you attend? Do you sport their sports teams? I went to San Diego State University, and yes, I will wear Aztec gear every now and then. I'm not a big fan of the teams. Like, I don't follow them every game in and game out, but I obviously cheer for them as much as I can. Thoughts on Rampage Jackson dating a 25-year-old and he's 47. Rampage is a walking dildo, organic dildo. He's all about that. He's always bragging about it on TV. One of the best nicknames, too, in the game. Hilarious guy, by the way. I'm 47. Do I see myself, if I wasn't married, dating a 25-year-old? I'd say that's probably the cap. I'd say that's probably the cap in terms of as low as I'd go. But I would prefer to date somebody in their 30s if I was going to go younger than me. But that's me. Joe, do you watch any LA Sparks games? No, I do not. Not enough time. Do you have Dirk over KG? Consider Dirk cooked KG badly, and Duncan KG only won when he went to a super team. That's a great question, Dirk. I don't have either one ahead of each other. I think they're even. Duncan is obviously ahead of him, but I always looked at KG and Dirk as the same player. And KG never really had. He had the 1 year he had the right team. Unfortunately, Sam Cassell was injured. And I think Sprewell was injured too. In 2004, that team, had they been healthy, it probably beat the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Lakers barely beat Minnesota in that series in 6. They needed Kareem Rush dropping 6 threes in Game 6 to finish that series, and that was the series that kind of drained them. Like that, the Lakers needed that to have been the last series because they didn't have any more juice after that. So I have KG and Dirk even. I've never really had them one better than the other. They have almost identical same careers in a lot of ways. Joe, will they release the Epstein list? I'm at the point right now, I'm so jaded by this list that there isn't a list. What I want to know is, where's the videos? Apparently this asshole had videos. I don't give a shit about a list. I already have the flight log. A lot of it you can barely read, but I don't. What's that going to do? You got to set some common sense here, guys. Okay, let's talk shop here, because people are so stupid and they just want to hate and they just want to just want something to, just a little bit of something to say. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. For all we know, this asshole was flying a bunch of celebrities over there because he's this rich guy that's accommodating them, right? You guys do know that these politicians and entertainers, they're used to being wined and dined. So by this guy doing that stuff, it was a way for him to probably keep himself safe, right? Hey, these guys aren't going to talk because guess what? They're on my plane going to my island. So if anybody talks, they're going to be in trouble. They're not going to say anything. They're not going to incriminate me, right? How do we know that that's not what his whole plan was? It's a hell of a plan. I mean, if I was a scumbag, that's exactly how I'd do it, because no one's talking. No one's saying anything. And if that list had a certain president on it, right, and it was only him of any relevance, you don't think that stuff would have come out when Mr. Joe Biden was there? I mean, that's an easy assessment, right? Because we know it's not just him. And by the way, Trump was on those logs. The only thing is his daughter was with him and his wife was with him. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know. Maybe they were taking trips over there for whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there. Would have never been there. Joe, toxic masculinity is Christian Bale in American Psycho. That is correct, my friend. Actually, that isn't. That's fake in a lot of ways. That's because if you notice, he was the dork in the group. That's why he was so insecure about things. That's why he was being the way he was. He was, but it is in the greatest terms of it. That's what that is. So that's a good point, Ralph. Good one on that one. Will Ferrell, you are supposed to be funny. Epstein list. Joe, I still hate the freaking Astros. Oh, I'll hate the Astros until I die. Yeah, I agree with that nameless 100%. Thoughts on Rashawn Slater getting injured? Absolutely devastating. Devastating. Left tackle in a pass-heavy offense with Justin Herbert needing to get better, to take the next step. Yeah, that's one thing. That is one player, one team, one position that you can't have. It's the NFL's. Sometimes some guys are resilient, make it work, but that's a big blow right now. How it ends up, we're gonna have to wait and see. Who will win the college football playoffs? Man, I have no idea. I think maybe Georgia, maybe Ohio State again. But they're gonna keep putting these. I just hope they don't do what Gerald wanted. I hope they don't uh, have a 45 round playoff. I don't know what the hell these guys are doing. Like, this is enough. Even this playoff run was enough. You're asking these kids to play 3 and 4 playoff games. Don't go beyond that. Stick to it if that's what you're going to do. Joe, why isn't soccer number 1 in the U.S. and the world? My theory on soccer not being number 1 in America is because America, because of its attention span, that kind of the lifestyle in America versus, let's say, European countries. I don't know if destitute countries is the right word. A lot of the lower income, a lot of third world countries. It's easy to just. My dad used to say this, God rest his soul, because he was a soccer player. He used to say it's easy to play soccer anywhere. You don't need much. All you need is a ball, and you don't even need to wear shoes in a lot of these places. So you put a couple of rocks as goals, right, on each side. Hell, get a huge ball of tape, and that you can kick that, right? It's easy to play soccer everywhere. In America, we have money here. We have money to have helmets and shoulder pads and knee pads and shin pads and bats and equipment for baseball and hockey and all that. So in America's likes a little bit more violence than most places in a lot of ways. So football is a violent sport that people thirst for, and then baseball is, most of these kids in America grew up playing stickball, right? And then in their neighborhoods. So that's has its own essence. And then basketball's basketball. I think basketball is popular everywhere. And then hockey's popular in Canada, parts of LA, parts of the United States, obviously, and then of course in the Balkans as well as Russia. So I just think it's timing. I think the timing of the other sports in America took precedent, and I think the activity in those sports is a little bit more engaging than soccer. Soccer, I think, not scoring, scoring one goal in a 90-minute game, I think a lot of times is not conducive for the American mentality. Joe, is it true you were a 3-star linebacker at Mater Dei? No, it is not true. I went to Turlock High, and I was a all-league center. Played with a broken hand on my left hand, by the way, for 6 weeks. Let's see. Joe, do you believe in ghosts? Have you experienced any paranormal activity? No, I have not. Other than the times in my life where I've psyched myself out and thinking there was something there, bad dream or whatever. I was at the Whaley House in the Old Town San Diego, and I was with a group, and the Whaley House had a window door with drapes, so you could see inside. You could see the stairwell, the base of the stairwell in the back. So I waited for the people, my crew, to just walk, and I kind of scaled back, and I had this idea that I was going to stand in the doorway and look at the base of the stairs. And the base of the stairs was dark, and this was at night, by the way. And then you'd have to turn right to go up the stairs. So it had that really creepy, scary kind of darkness right around the base of the stairs. So I stood there looking through the door window, and I said, "Okay, motherfucker, show yourself. I'm going to give you 5 minutes." And I just stood there for 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes, waiting for something to pop out, waiting for something to go. Something. I didn't see shit. No one was around. There wasn't any cameras. There wasn't any recording devices. It would have just been him or her and me and my word. And of course, no one would have believed me, right? Even if they trust me and they understand that I'm not lying. How do you believe that, right? So I stood there outside that door, open window, looking at the base of those stairs, whatever. Didn't see shit. He didn't show himself. No one showed themselves. So at that point, I'm like, and I actually left. I'm like, you're whack. You ain't in there, you lying piece of shit. And then I left. Joe, thoughts on John Ireland? I prefer John Ireland to be the sideline guy. I thought he was great as a sideline guy. Play by play on the radio. I mean, he's not bad, but I would have preferred to have kept Spiro Ditas and had him do the simulcast with Stu, and maybe even do with Stu and Michael Thompson, because I love Michael Thompson, but I think he's a better sideline guy than a play-by-play. Number one, Magic, yes, 200 points. How many wins will Pete Carroll win this year? I think he's going to win 6 at the very least. There's a very big possibility he'll win 8 if a couple things go their way. Jordan, Game 6, Utah. Okay. Thoughts on more dildos getting thrown on WB? I will say this. I liked Sophie Cunningham commenting on it. I'll just leave it at that. I just thought it was nice hearing her say the word dildo on her was it Instagram or whatever, Twitter, X. Shaq 3-peat. Honorable mention Kawhi 2019. Let's see. Elton Brand or Zach Randolph? That's a good question. I don't know. My first instinct with the Zach Randolph. My Syrian brother Soro, always a pleasure. Thank you. Have me join the show during the offseason. LeBron James, I never knew you were a Syrian. I'm very, very happy you're here. And I'm happy that you're a Syrian. Joe, did you go to Turkey for your hairline? It looks incredible. I've never been to Turkey. And this is my hairline. Let's see here. LeBron, why didn't you show up to Doncic contract extension? Doncic contract. LeBron is a busy guy. I don't know why he had to show up to a signing. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it matters. So it's just much ado about nothing. Predict the record of the Steelers, Joe. Oh, Jesus. I have no idea right now. But based off what I've seen the last decade, 10-7. First round exit. Because Diddy called me Will. Freaking you people in Diddy. I predict Bronny will be the most improved player of the year. I predict that your prediction will not happen. How many games will Ayton miss this year? Hopefully not more than 17. I'm hoping for 65 games with these pansies these days. Ideally 70. The fact that people only watch the WNBA for dildos and violence, not the players. Well, the problem is, Jay, is that who gets excited about layups? I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just not excited about it. Caitlin Clark is one of the few exciting players because she can hit threes like Steph Curry. But then what else? What else is it? They should have lowered the rims to 9.5 feet years ago for the women, and it would have been a much more exciting game. Sorry, that's what it is. Let's see. Can we cuss in the comments or will we be banned? Just don't say racist stuff. I mean, if you're a brother and you want to drop a censored N-bomb, I guess it's okay. Just do it within taste, and no gay jokes and none of that crap. I'm sorry, no derogatory gay stuff, like disgusting stuff. I don't mind if you say something, about Ellen DeGeneres or something. Joe, what's your dream vacation spot? I don't have one. I live in Southern California. I already live in a vacation spot. I can go to the beach anytime I want. I can go to the snow anytime I want. I can go eat apple pie up in the mountains and ice cream anytime I want. I would say if I had to pick a spot, I do want to go to Switzerland at some point. I do want to go to Italy, and I do want to go to Greece. Hearing a lot of good places, good things about those areas in terms of vacations and things like that. Thoughts or the Parsons Jerry Jones beef? Well, Parsons likely wants JJ. I'm sorry. He likely wants TJ Watt money, if not more. And I think Jerry's trigger finger right now is not itching as much because he doesn't want to turn into a Dak Prescott thing. If I'm him, I don't know. Jerry Jones is done. As long as this guy's there, the Cowboys will continue to be irrelevant on the field. They'll be relevant in everything else except the field. And this is a perfect example of that. We could cuss up to the mods to ban us. LeBron, just don't direct it at anyone. Jason Capono, 3-point. No, Jason Capono was horrible in LA. Not UCLA, LA Lakers. You see Giddy going to join the. Yeah, I did see that, Mark. I saw it just right before I got on the show. I got to read into that. That's the latest talk down under. Yes, it is. Peaceful, sir. I wanted to comment about the W dildo. Yeah, dildos. Talk about dildos. We don't worry about that. We're not. Yeah, we're not a. This is not a. This can be an art thing. I just don't want racial stuff and disgusting gay stuff on here. I don't want it. Like, hey, I love you. I want to take your pants down. Like that kind of porn crap. I don't want that. Don't want it. Don't like it. Back to the masculinity thing. I am a man. I like women. Don't like the other things. So now you know. But I'm not going to tell another brother that he can't drop the N-bomb with his other brother. You know, it's something that I have plenty of black friends in my circles. And once in a great while, you're going to hear it. And it's just what it is. So I'm not here to be the verbal police. I don't give a shit. Giddy in California. That makes me giddy. I will be the judge of all that. LeBron James. Mark is crazy, guys. Mark is crazy. That's why he and I get along. Joe, ignoring your political beliefs and preferences, what is your opinion on Trump administration so far since being voted in? Pros and cons for yourself. The thing with Trump is I'm hot and cold with Trump. The things that I do like about Trump is I like his mentality in terms of winning. I like his aggressive nature. I like the fact that he's got the masculinity and the testosterone. I can relate to that, and I do relate to that. The parts I don't like is I do think sometimes he doesn't communicate well. I don't like his lifestyle. I'm not a choir boy. I do look at the menu. I'm a married man, but I do look at the menu, and I do still think the way men think. But I think his lifestyle is a little too yuppie for me. I'm not really a guy that hangs around a lot of yuppies. I think I only have like one yuppie that I've conversed with in the last 5-6 years, just from a business standpoint. But it's not my style. Like the New York yuppie that he is, I would have never identified with that particular group. And I still don't, but I do like, I like the fact that he says he's going to do something, and more often than not, he does. He can't do 100% of this stuff, but he told everybody he was going to do, and he's doing it. And the stuff that he's doing is putting accountability in a lot of places that I believe should have accountability. And that's how I feel about Trump. Have you watched Rookie Luka? He was crazy lean and dunking on people and chased down. And that's what you're probably going to get now, Dirk. I mean, that's what it is. I don't think he's going to be able to body up guys as much because 30 pounds is a lot. But we got to save them legs, man. He can't have calf issues, man. Calf issues turn into Achilles issues, especially the last 5 years, 5-6 years. So I'd rather him dunk on people than have to body people up and have that extra weight. Is Kuminga a good player? See, I'm not a big fan. I think he's a good player, and that's it. All this fuss about him, I think, isn't a big deal. Joe, you have my word. No, did he hear? My buddy Jesse's a black man, and we we termed the N word into just ER because we will talk about certain people that he'll run into every now and then, and he'll say things like, that guy's saying the ER when we're not around. so I thought that was kind of cool. The ER is the ER is different than the A. So the ER is the replacement of the N bomb. I've grown up saying the N bomb since I was in high school. Kuminga seems pretty good to me, but more of a bench player. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. He is a bench player, but he's going to get paid like a starter, much like somebody we know. They can start, but they're better, in my view, as six men on a title run, on a title team. Joe, how many current NBA players do you think play basketball high or drunk? With the leniency that it's been, I'd say, without a doubt, at least probably 20% of those guys are high. I wouldn't doubt it. I like Kuminga. I mean, think about it, man. The 80s was probably 50%. And they weren't smoking weed. These guys are probably just smoking weed. Some are smoking harder stuff, maybe. You can't deny that might be there. But those guys in the 80s were doing blow like we drink coffee. So, yeah, I'd say 20% of the league is high. I just wonder who likes to take a chance with not get popped. I don't know how they do the drug test in the NBA, but that's a risky thing if it is 20%. Luka is on the juice, baby. I don't think he's on the juice. Dropping weight doesn't take long. I mean, he's dropped 30 pounds in what, 4 months? I could drop 30 pounds in a month without even working out, just changing my eating habits. Anyone see the new Naked Gun? I have not yet. I've been hearing good things about it, though. How many rings do you think Kobe wins with AD if he was replaced with? Shit, that's a hard one. The real question is, how many titles would Kobe have won if Gasol had come to LA in 2005? Imagine Shaq leaving in 4, and then Gasol comes in 05. Because Gasol was the rookie of the year in 2001. So let's say he ran his 4. I think at that time, 4 years was the rookie contract, right? What if he had become a free agent in 2005 and the Lakers were able to pick him up? How many titles does, with Kobe 05, 06, 07, does Kobe win a title in 06 with Gasol? That's a bigger question. If Kobe is in his prime with AD, I think he wins. If he's with AD for, let's say, Kobe's prime started probably in 03, like the prime squared, like the ultimate prime, right? And it lasted till probably 2009. 2010, that season. Let's say it lasted 8 seasons. I think he wins 4 with AD. I could see him win 4 with AD. There are guys that are lean that get popped for steroids. You know what? Sometimes the steroid stuff that they're taking is like some kind of pharmaceutical supplement that has a banned substance in it. To me, if you're not taking like Tren, Dianabol, human growth hormone, stuff like that, I mean, I got a cortisone shot, guys, on my shoulder. It's a steroid. So what are we defining this as? Do we say PEDs? Do we say gear? What do we say? Steroids, I think, is a little more potent. The real steroids are a little bit more potent. And there's no point. I think steroids in basketball might be the least needed in that. Joe Clay Thompson has been all over Megan Three Stallions social media. He better have a good season since he's eating all that. I'm not a fan. I don't know who this lady is, but I think he can do. I've said before on the show, I think he should do better. I think he's playing. I think he's playing way below where he should be. I think they should allow all players to take PEDs, more performance, more money. That the problem is there, LeBron, is it's not fair for those who don't want to do it. Now those guys who don't want to risk future issues with their health, with their heart, with their joints. I think what they're doing now with it is the right way. How do you think I'm playing till 50 years old? Growth hormone, the fountain of youth. Yeah, the growth hormone is no doubt, if used properly, that's something you have to factor in. Now, whether LeBron has been using it or not is debatable. I'm not going to be naive and say that no one is using stuff. Maybe they're using stuff that's undetectable. When you hear somebody spending $1 million on taking care of themselves, I'm sure there's scientists out there creating stuff that's undetectable, right? I'm not saying that it's not a possibility, but I think it's unlikely. Thoughts on Conor McGregor's lifestyle? I think Conor McGregor has CTE, and he's also stupid. I think that's kind of him in a nutshell. AD and Kobe injured wouldn't work. No, Kobe was only injured in 05 for 20 games at the end of the year, but I think a lot of that was preventative. I think if they were competing in 05, I don't think he would have sat out those last 18 games, I think it was. Nah, I don't know about that, Jay. I don't know about getting destroyed. Tough. What's up, bud? Nice to see you here. Garnett will make AD his, you know what? I don't know about that. Garnett was a studio gangster, by the way, guys. Come on. You guys, some of you guys, I don't know how old you are, but Garnett was amazing, but he wasn't that guy. LeBron James, don't refer to yourself as being the real LeBron James too much. It's embarrassing. Hey, that's my mod, so don't piss him off, guys. Who do you think will be bringing the ball up the court more, Luka? I'd say Luka needs to bring the ball up when he's in there to preserve Braun. Preserving Braun is imperative. It is the most important thing that JJ Redick needs to put together should the roster stay the way it is. Has to. You have to preserve LeBron James if you're to have any shot at winning a championship. And you still need a bunch of stuff to go on your way to do it. Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that Stallion chick. I think he could, no bueno. I told you the last time Dodgers were going to trade Dustin May. Yeah, I thought they weren't going to do that based off of the issues with pitching, but I think the mental part with Dustin May's just never going to really. Yeah, it looks like he gets in and out of his head too much in a game. This is a great conversation about the like button, fellas. Yeah, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, guys. Push and click on your notification button. We're new here, guys. I'm still new here. I do a show once a week. This will likely escalate as football and the Lakers come on board, and obviously when the Dodgers are in the playoffs, hopefully. But right now, I'm also planning on getting production value developed here. We're going to be doing some things with the LFB as well, and that'll tail into this as well. So, please like and subscribe and get ready for the advancement. It's coming. Let's see. Have you ever debated your friends Kobe versus LeBron and changed their opinions? We had a show on Lakers Fast Break where John Costa and I were going back and forth on LeBron and MJ. Kobe and LeBron, I don't really care what anybody says. Kobe's the second greatest player I've ever seen play basketball. LeBron might be the most accomplished basketball player of all time, kind of in line with Kareem, but I go by the game and the accomplishments, and I don't know anybody that's been better than Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant doesn't have the extra gear that MJ had, MJ had huge hands, and he had another fast twitch fiber gear that Kobe didn't. I think that gave him a little bit more ability, especially when it came to getting to a spot. See, when Kobe couldn't get to a spot, he just shot over you. Michael was so freakishly athletic. He could get to any spot, create distance, and get the shot off without hesitation. And that's a fact. I watched it for many years. Kobe might have been a different story if Kobe had won in 08 and 04. I think the story of Kobe's career is an interesting one because he didn't come into the league like LeBron, MJ, the Allen Iversons, coming out the gate as the guy. So he really played. He's the first perimeter player in NBA history to come from high school to the NBA. And in his first 2 seasons, his coach didn't let him really play a lot, especially year 1. Year 2, he was the sixth man of the group. Should have won it sixth man of the year that year, by the way. And made the All-Star team and actually started as a sixth man. Kobe didn't play his first full, didn't start his first full 82-game season until year 4, because year 3 there was a strike or a lockout, and that coincidentally was the year they won their first championship. So Kobe didn't have the start that LeBron, I don't even know if Tracy McGrady factored in there. He got drafted by Toronto, then he got traded to Orlando. I don't know how his career would have went had he started as the man right out the gate. I think if he had started as the man right out the gate, he would have had more scoring titles. He would have had more career points. But he came into a ready championship-made team. Shaq had just been acquired that summer. They drafted Derek Fisher. They got Rick Fox the following year. They got Robert Horry the following year. And then that's kind of how things developed. But my eyes, I've never seen the 2 basketball players that had no weaknesses was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I've never seen any. They don't have weaknesses. They're both all defenders. Both guys, first team All NBA, first team All NBA defense. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 years. I'm talking about 9 freaking seasons. Kobe was first team All NBA defense 9 times. First team All NBA 11 times. Should have won 4 MVPs. But for some reason, 06, 09, and 2010, I don't know what it is. He hit 7 game winners in 2010. You guys want to know the difference between the 1 seed and the 8 seed in 2010? 7 games. How is that not more valuable? The 1 seed, 7 game winning shots, also won a championship that year, beating every team that had 50 wins all through the playoffs. And that was the second time Kobe had done that. Second time. The other one was in 01. With Shaq, without Shaq, still did it. Joe, can you at least slightly admit my son has made some progress? Progress in what? That he's less horrible than last year? Okay, I'll give him that. He's not an NBA player, man. At least not for the Lakers. So that's where I stand on that. Luke is the man for now. Tough. AR, LeBron. Everyone needs to get in line. True that. Thoughts on Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan is the hyperbole king. Everything is the greatest this, the greatest that. This is the greatest event. After a while, it gets tiring. Can we make fantasy football league? Yeah, we could. Gerald, I think, runs it. Let's do an experiment fantasy league. I'll if I have time, I'll think about it. Jordan was on coke. Kobe was sober. No, Jordan was not on coke. His teammates were his rookie year. I'm assuming his second year too. But his rookie year, they were all on dope. And as Hakeem, the best 2-way player ever, that ring was insane as the 6th seed beating those teams. And how was it like watching Hakeem beat Kareem and Magic? He's a top 5 player to me. Hakeem Olajuwon was the Kobe Bryant of centers. Yeah. Phenomenal. And had Magic not retired the first time, there were two scenarios that were coming up the Lakers' way. Dr. Buss was preparing. One was there was a lot of disdain from Hakeem to the Houston Rockets at that time. I think it was right in 1991, right when the Lakers had just lost the finals to the Bulls. Hakeem was wanting out of Houston, and I felt pretty comfortable that at that time when I was hearing that, I felt kind of like, ooh, could this be something that could come our way? And then Barkley, there was a deal already done, and then I think something happened where somebody reneged at the last minute. I can't remember what exactly it was. I think Charles Barkley had spoken on it. So if Magic had not retired, I actually think that Hakeem would have found his way to LA. If Hakeem comes to LA, we might be talking about something different right now with Michael Jordan. Because if you have Magic Johnson, who was still amazing, by the way, guys, that was only his 12th season. He probably had another 3-4 years of amazing Magic Johnson basketball left in him. You put in Hakeem in there with Magic, woo, yeah. We might be talking about something else right now. Crazy. Is Blake Griffin Hall of Fame worthy? Not in my view, but don't be surprised if he does get in. Watching Hakeem play in real time was insane, to be honest. Yeah, he was phenomenal. Where is Philip Rivers going to land legacy-wise with the Hall of Fame? How will he be remembered? He'll be remembered as the man who played with a torn ACL, a man who was consistent, couldn't win the big one, but had some bad luck in 06 and 07. That wasn't his fault. If he makes it to the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't balk at it. I think he played Hall of Fame. He played like Hall of Famer. But the question is always, I'm basing it off of what the criteria is now. You have to be, to me, a Hall of Fame is you say the name and there's no doubt. And that's just me. Moses Momo got drafted out of high school. Yeah, he did. Almost every guy got drafted. Every guy that got drafted up until Kevin Garnett in 95 was a big that went from high school to Chocolate Thunder also was, I believe, drafted from high school. They were all bigs. Kobe was the first guard, first perimeter guy to get drafted from high school to the pros. Didn't Hakeem teach Kobe footwork? Kobe did go to Hakeem's school for footwork. I can't remember what year it was, but there's footage of it on YouTube. Why do you think Magic and Dwayne Wade's son became trans? How do I say this without going completely left? Let me just put it this way. I'm with J.K. Rowling's with all that stuff. Joe, Best Joe, Joe DiMaggio, Joe Torre, Samoa Joe, or Fat Joe. I say Joe DiMaggio. Although Joe Torre is right next to him. But Joe DiMaggio is, in a lot of the Yankee fans' eyes, old school, new school, the greatest Yankee behind Babe Ruth, which I don't know if I could go that way. I think Lou Gehrig was number 2, Joe number 3. And then even then it's debatable, is Mickey Mantle 3? It's kind of like the Lakers. How do you pick, right? You can't really go wrong with Lou Gehrig, Mantle, or DiMaggio as the 2. You just can't. And that's really the main guys, too. I mean, you could look at guys like Yogi Berra. You could look at guys like Reggie Jackson. You could look at guys like Derek Jeter. But Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth are like their talents were astronomically number one. So Babe Ruth one. I'd say Lou Gehrig is two, and then I got to tie at three with Joe and Mantle. That's kind of how I didn't see him. I didn't even play, but in the time I've spent kind of researching and knowing about how that all worked, yeah. Yankee fans telling me things, Yankee footage, Yankee videos, Yankee documentaries. I'd say that's probably what it is. You know, the Billy Martins and Thurman Munsons and all those guys were really good, and they're iconic Yankees, but they didn't have the talent of those four guys. Joe, I remember the days we picked up guys like McAdoo, Michael Thompson to add to the teams. Yeah, those guys. McAdoo was an MVP. Michael Thompson was the first overall pick from Portland. They were essential bench guys that helped get over the hump. They were the Trevor Ariza's and the Ron Artests of their time. Do you think Ben Roth was more talented than Brady, but just had unfortunate circumstances? No. Ben Roethlisberger, when you build a quarterback, you build Ben Roethlisberger. Big hands, 6'5", has the shoulder width of a giant Mack truck windshield. Perfect quarterback, but wasn't dedicated like Tom Brady. He used his talent. He created a Hall of Fame career, and it's going to be first ballot, champion, everything. But I don't think he did. What is that line in Waiting? The difference between extra and extraordinary and ordinary is that little extra. Ben never really went extra. He went a little bit, but not extra. Lived off his talent, improved just enough to where he could be amazing, but not next level stuff like Tom Brady. And he had the teams to do it too, by the way. It's not like he played for some rinky-dink Cincinnati Bengal team. Steelers in the 2000s were that decade, they drafted as good as for an entire decade as great as any team ever in any sport, any league, any sport. The Steelers ended up winning 2 Super Bowls and went to 3 in that 2000 to 2010 decade because of how amazing the front office was in drafting players and how amazing those teams were. I mean, the 05 team was, I would argue, is the closest team I've ever seen in any sport. I mean, those guys were so tight. And then the 08 season was the most enjoyable season I've ever watched as a Steeler fan. It was unbelievably fun. The 2010 Super Bowl team that ended up losing to the Packers, that year was fun too. But it's hard to look at that year as a full accomplishment because they lost that last game. If they had won that last game, I think his career might have been a little bit different. Like if he had gone to 3 Super Bowls and won it, I think he would have had a little bit more in terms of his hierarchy in that list of all-time greats. Joe, what did you eat for dinner? Ramen? I actually had pho tonight. Good guess. You were close. I had pho. I hadn't had pho in I think 2 years, and somebody had mentioned it to me a couple weeks ago, and I've been craving it. I only ate about half of it too because I had to get back on the show. But yeah, I did have noodles. I had pho. I love the jalapenos. I love the chicken, the shredded chicken, and then I drenched that thing with lime. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Well said, Joey. J.K. Rowling for the win. Yes, indeed, Mark. I knew you'd like that one, baby. Thoughts on Earl Boykins? How did he make props to Earl Boykins. Props to Spud Webb. Props to all the Isaiah Thomas was like the last one. Props to the little guys who played with the Giants. I don't know necessarily if that's ever going to happen again, but yeah, it's been. I think he. And the funny thing about Earl Boykins is he always gave Lakers problems. Couldn't understand why they couldn't guard that mother. Couldn't freaking guard that guy. I don't get it. I could not get it. But again, props for someone that small being that impactful. The Isaiah Thomases, the Spud Webbs. Just amazing players that put a stamp on the league being who they were. So props to them. The best, Joe, is Joe. Thanks, I appreciate that, LeBron. Was Big Ben overweight? He seemed at one stage. Yeah, he was overweight a lot. He got better as the years went on, but yeah, he had that habit of being a little too big. Joe Soro, favorite Will Ferrell movie? Ooh. I'm gonna have to say Anchorman. Probably the most quotable movie you could probably ever watch. There's a lot of them. Nacho Libre, 40-Year-Old Virgin. But I think Will Ferrell absolutely dominated. Everyone dominated in that movie. The first one. The second one was horrible. But the first Anchorman should be in the Smithsonian as comedy platinum, not even gold. Comedy platinum. Joe Sor, did you watch New Happy? Yes, I did. Wasn't impressed. I might need to keep watching it. When in Rome. That doesn't really apply. I still don't understand it. Yeah, that little stuff with Will Ferrell playing an idiot. That's why it made it so good. I still think it's the most quotable movie ever. Is Anchorman. There was a decade there where every day it was an Anchorman quote. Joe, I need a drink. Have a good night, my brother. Thank you, Will Ferrell. We appreciate you for being here. Again, if you haven't subscribed and liked, please do so. It's time to shut down the experiment for the night. We didn't get into a lot of NFL, but we did talk NFL. We did talk a lot of Dodgers. Talked a little bit of the NBA. Talked a little bit of the Lakers, and of course, a little bit of lifestyle. So again, the experiment worked. We are here to talk. And do not be afraid. We are not afraid. I am not afraid. You want to ask me legitimate questions, even if they're a little taboo, maybe if they're a little sensitive, maybe a little political. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about your boy. Your boy will answer it. And he'll answer it clearly. I don't want to go all the way in because I don't want to lose the essence of the show. This is a sports show. And I will answer political and social questions. But I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be it. And I don't really care. That's really what it comes from. We're here to talk sports. We're here to enjoy it. We're here to get away from the nonsense that's constantly being programmed in you. But in terms of the comedy of it and just kind of changing pace a little here and there, I actually don't mind it. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here this morning, this afternoon, and this evening. And until next time, I'll see you next time.